welcome to the Ranger's Respite. I'm Philip, and this is Drinking Geek. Hey, it is review time. This is my second attempt at filming this because last time my microphone decided that it wasn't going to work. So, fingers crossed for this time. Now, last week, these were the options up for review. Not last week, like 2 weeks ago. More than that, I don't know. It's been a while. But I'm trying to get started again. But because my local whiskey club is the way it is, they decided that the best thing to do was to tie up all the votes. So instead, this week, I'm reviewing something that wasn't even an option. This is Old Overholt Bonded Rye Whiskey. Old Overholt is sort of one of the big old names in rye whiskey. It was founded in Pennsylvania and sort of exemplified the Monongahela style rye for decades until Prohibition, when they were forced to close their doors, and they lay dormant. The brand lay dormant for quite a while. It was bought by a certain major conglomeration that owns a number of distilling companies that has facilities in Claremont and Frankfort, Kentucky. 3 guesses who that is. And it's sort of held up as one of the archetypal ryes. So, let's take a look at it. Of course, since it's bottled in bond, it is bottled at 50% alcohol by volume, 100 proof. It is, I think, about $26-ish in Virginia before tax. No, I think it's $24.99. Yes, I think that's it. There is no explicit age statement on the bottle, however they do say at least 4 years, as is the law for bonded whiskey. It is, on the nose, very herbal, and it has a lot of, like, less spice and more earthy, herby, herbal notes. Not a whole lot of ethanol on the nose, which is nice. It's a little bit bitter smelling, but that's to be expected because rye is a bitter grain to some extent. On the palate, just a little bit sharp. It's got a thin, lots of mid-range, not a whole lot of low-end or high-end flavors. And it's a right over home plate rye. It is exemplary for the style. It's a little bit spicier on the palate than it is on the nose. The finish is short, by the way. There's some lingering spice in the back of the throat and a little bit of like an oily feeling. But on the palate, it's lots of the same sort of herbal, musty notes, some earthiness, a little bit of spice, and a little bit of like barrel impact can be felt. But it's not an aggressive whiskey. Because I love you guys, I'm going to compare it, as I did in my previous attempt, to another bonded rye whiskey that used to be a Pennsylvania brand that is now made in Kentucky. Rittenhouse Bonded Rye. I think this is a great comparison because they are both Monongahela, Pennsylvania style rye that are no longer made in Pennsylvania, that are both bottle and bond, so they're the same proof and roughly-ish the same age. Again, neither one of these is age statement, but we know that they are a minimum of 4 years old. The Rittenhouse bonded rye is not super available in Virginia. It is not currently listed on the VA ABC website, and was not when I bought it in a VA ABC store. But that's happened to me a couple times where I've picked up something in a VA ABC store and decided to look at what the availability is otherwise, and discovered that it's not generally available. But anyway. Oh, in case you're wondering, this one is distilled and bottled by Heaven Hill Distilleries, Inc., Louisville, Kentucky, and Bardstown, Kentucky. This one doesn't actually say specifically who, because the Beam, Centauri Beam, does things a little bit differently than Heaven Hill. Oh, I gave it away, didn't I? Oh. On the nose, this is mellower with the more caramel and spice notes and less earthy tones, but the same rye herbal core. I think it's also slightly darker in color, but that just might be me. Yeah, it's just a hair darker. This one is much woodier on the palate. Less oily feeling. Although there is some oiliness feeling in the side of the mouth and down towards the back. Doesn't have the same clinging sensation that the Overholt has. And it's less hot feeling in the mouth. I mean, the Overholt feels a little bit younger, but that just, it can't be less than 4 years old. This is also just a hair sweeter. They're both fantastic ryes. If you are looking for a rye whiskey to try for the first time, or if you are a rye fan and you turned your nose up at either of these in favor of, say, Whistle Pig or other more expensive rye options, you should absolutely give these a try. They are, pound for pound, some of the best values in rye whiskey, I think. I can't do a side-by-side of the original Old Overholt and the Old Overholt Bonded because I don't have a bottle of the standard Old Overholt. But I have had it, and it is very similar. Younger feeling, less well-rounded, and a little bit more ethanol-y, even at, I believe it's 40%. I also really like both of these labels for different reasons. The Rittenhouse label is very Art Deco-y looking to me, whereas the Old Overholt label is very classic. This is the way the label has always looked. This is how our label will always look. Sort of, I guess stodgy is not the right word, but sort of very stately, classical. And it's got the picture of the individual whose name might be Overholt. I don't know. It's an old guy. He looks a little bit like the Quaker Oats guy. Yeah, fantastic whiskeys. I recommend them. And now time for my usual outro stuff. in the description down below, you will find a link to the Whiskey Lodge Discord server. It's where a bunch of whiskey-minded people hang out. We have a lot of fun. We're working on becoming more active in the voice chats, finding nights that work best for us, and doing tastings and whatnot over Discord. You'll also find a link to my Patreon. Patreon gets you the right to vote on what I review, provided you don't tie it up. And it also gets you everything that I make early, as well as some Patreon exclusive content. Not a whole lot of that though, because I'm really bad at making content right now. You also will have the opportunity to recommend cocktails for my Drinking Geeks videos on Fridays. You'll also find a link to, if you don't like Patreon, coffee. You don't really get anything in return for coffee, but it would support my channel, make it more possible for me to continue to do these videos, and maybe expand a little bit outward. I want to do some cooking videos too. You'll also find a link to my Etsy shop where I have That's the Spirit pastel stickers. I don't have one that I can lay my fingers on right this moment. They're $3 a piece. The profits go to supporting my channel, and I would really appreciate people buying some. And I think that I've managed to cover everything. So, until Friday, stay happy, stay geeks, sláinte.